What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in the Khaliis Take. You know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell just so you can get the newest and the bonus content first. But hey, let's just go ahead and jump right in. In all essence, it comes down to this, for me, the Clippers just deserve more respect. You could say the shorthanded Clippers, whatever you want to call them, but they deserve more respect. And, lately here, Kyle Kuzma or the Washington Wizards, threw some shade at the Clippers. And you can read it on Sports Illustrated and everything like that. He gets more into detail than what I'm about to get into. But a part of the disrespect that the Clippers get, is enough through the media by not being mentioned and talked about. But it's another thing when you have, players saying things about a team that has nothing to do with him. Kyle Kuzma, I do like Kyle Kuzma. I really do. I've always liked Kyle Kuzma. I liked his upside. I thought he was a really, talented player. I still do think he is that, but when he says that the Clippers games aren't like the Lakers games, and he was saying it in referencing of like the Clippers like games aren't as live basically as a Lakers game. And he said this Friday, which is today, they'll get a real taste of the arena and everything that comes with it because they play the Lakers. And, I respect his opinion because he played for the Lakers. He won a championship for them. And, well, he didn't win it for them, but he won a championship with them, I should say. And, he definitely was a part of a good experience with the Lakers. And, being with the Lakers, you get a lot of Hollywood type, treatment, things like that. And I definitely understand that. But the fact of the matter is you're on the Wizards, dude. You're on a team that nobody cares about. And I feel like, what he's doing now is just really doing things to make himself or keep himself relevant. And, the part of the fact of the matter is the Lakers didn't want to keep you. You were just somewhat a piece of the puzzle and not really that fitting in their eyes because as young and as upcoming as Kuzma is, the Lakers didn't even want to keep him. They let him go and got a bunch of older players. So, that says what they really think about him and, his progression and things like that. He did squeeze a championship out of it. He was a part of it, so I'm not going to say he wasn't, but throwing shade at another team in LA when that team is a lot better than yours and your team had a 35-point lead on this team and you found a way to lose it against a Clippers team without Kawhi and PG on there, it says very little about your team and a little about your gameplay if you're trying to talk about, another team and how they're trying to progress and get better and things like that. So, I don't know. I just feel like shade is always thrown at the Clippers, no matter where it comes from, what direction. You hear things like this from a player who really doesn't matter in most people's minds and who plays for the Wizards, who's like basically a nobody to a lot of people. And, he's trying to, clout chase, I would say, just to keep his name relevant. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong. By him saying that, it definitely, sparked some eyebrows because it's definitely, made some headlines and things like that. And, he's always been that type of player. He actually said some things about, LeBron when he was actually in the locker room with the Lakers. So, Kyle Kuzma's known for things like that. But my thing is overall, the disrespect for this team is really, really bad because this team deserves a lot more respect than this. They have been a way better team than what people expected. They have been, much better than what most people expected. Even me, myself, especially when Paul George went down this year after playing 42 games. We know Kawhi didn't play no games this season because of the ACL injury, but my thing is they just don't get the credit they deserve in regards to how they play and, how they just understand and the chemistry they have and what they're trying to accomplish, which is win every game they can, knowing that they're shorthanded and they find ways to do it, and here lately also, Ty Lue was, in a post game where he was speaking upon, something like this as well, where he says, everybody wants to talk about Kawhi and PG all the time, not being there and not being there to help and support and when they're coming back. And Ty Lue just basically got frustrated, said he's tired of talking about it. He's tired of talking about them because he doesn't know when they're going to come back. There's no timetable. And basically he said he'll let the media know, and let's just talk about the guys we have on the floor and how we're fighting every night. And he definitely has a good point, because the guys he got on the floor is fighting every night almost as if they are, superstars, or playing every night. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones out there. They're playing every night, winning games, winning big games against really good competition, and nobody is noticing it, and it's going under the radar, and nobody's talking about these guys. And the only time I think they ever really got talked about in this whole thing, or this whole situation in regards to them winning and doing what they've been doing the last several months, is when they beat the Lakers a few nights ago. And granted, because when you beat the Lakers, you're definitely going to get, some more lights shown or flashed your way because of who the Lakers are. And we understand that. But at the same time, I do feel like the Clippers should get more respect in regards to, who they are and what they have done and what they've accomplished. I definitely believe that myself. So, and I definitely respect that as well. So I understand that the Clippers don't get the respect they deserve. And I definitely think it's not right, because what they've done so far this season, I think a lot of people just don't want to acknowledge, because they just don't want them to be a better team than the Lakers. They don't want them to be the better team. They don't want them to win. You see what I'm saying? And with that being being out there, that's almost how the media carries it too. The media always carries it that way, because you have to understand, people always go by tradition. People always go by, the past, and people always go by what they know best. And most people always remember the Lakers winning. So even when the Lakers are not winning, they look at the Lakers as if they're winning, because the Lakers are still the forefront of LA in most people's mind. And nobody wants to accept the fact that the Clippers are the better team, even though the Clippers are the better team. They beat them 4 times this year. They beat them the last 2 times, or at least the last time they played them, they beat them pretty handily. So, and this is without Kawhi and PG. But at the same time, nobody wants to give them credit. Nobody wants to really understand the struggle that they go through in regards to not having their star players and still in the play-in tournament, where the Lakers might not even make the play-in tournament, and they got 2 out of their 3 superstars and had all 3 of them a lot of the season. So, I mean, it's really bad that the disrespect comes towards the Clippers the way it does. But, Clippers Nation is used to it. The Clippers organization, the players are used to it. And I feel like the Clippers embrace it more than any other team in the NBA. And I feel like that's the hatred towards them fuels their next man up mentality. It fuels their resilience. It fuels, their drive, and it fuels their thought process in regards to, just winning and trying to be the best team they could be. And I feel like it's definitely helped them a lot, going forward. And, up until this point in the season. Now, hopefully, like I said, they continue it and continue to keep it moving. And I believe they do play the Wizards again. So hopefully they'll definitely knock them off, the same way they did the last time or the time before that. And hopefully they definitely get a little bit of sweet revenge on what Kyle Kuzma is saying and things like that. I mean, I feel like maybe he just wants to be back in LA because, Washington is trash, and, he's trash right along with them pretty much now, because, you had a chance to really make a name for yourself in LA and be somebody, and they sent you away because they didn't think you were good enough to actually help them carry the torch in the future. And at least LeBron didn't think that anyway. So, I mean, now you're there and you do got a championship. Good for him. But it doesn't really matter because nobody really knows too much about who you are unless, somebody watches the NBA a lot, like me. But other people don't even know who he is. So I can't really say it matters much. But it's just the fact that I had to point out the hatred coming towards this team all the time from different angles. The media never wants to give them credit. The media never wants to talk about them. Even when Kawhi Leonard and PG is there, they still disrespect the team and say they can't win. So it's not like when both of them players are there, they get more respect. They still get the same hatred. They just get more light shined on them because they got 2 stars in the building. So, I mean, that that definitely, you know what I'm saying, is a true statement, because we saw that last year and the year before last. You know, a lot of people like Stephen A. Smith and a lot of people like, you know, you got other analysts like Shannon Sharp, another guy, Jason McIntyre, and a few other guys saying, oh, well, the Clippers are this or that or that. You know, they're not no good, you know. So it's always hatred towards the Clippers. They definitely understand it. And as I said before, they definitely embrace it. So, you know, it's nothing too much there to be said. But at the same time, you know, it's really sad to see a team have this much hatred towards them and they don't do anything. You know, they don't say nothing bad about nobody. They don't go out there. They don't play dirty. They don't go out there and you know, get too cocky, or, you know, they you know, the Clippers just play how Clippers play, and they're just trying to win. You know, that's all they're trying to do. They're not trying to, you know, step on the Lakers, or, you know, just they're not trying to do any of that. They're just trying to go out there and win. And I feel like nobody's respecting the fact that they're just trying to go out there and be the best team they could be. And they have a contending championship type team when they're healthy. And that's it. You know, nobody wants to give them that praise and that credit. But I feel like the best way, of course, is for the Clippers to go out there and win a championship. And I really hope they do, even more so than I ever did, because it just seems like the hatred's coming from multitude of areas, and it doesn't need to. But to silence all doubters, you got to win that championship. This is the reason why I said I feel like Kawhi, you know, if he can come back this year, might as well do it. You know, if PG can come back, do it, because I'm telling you, winning that championship is really what it's all about. I mean, you could silence a lot of doubters, and you could take the ease off your brain by winning it, because that's what you set this operation up for, you know, to win it, you know. So it's a failure if you don't. So, I mean, waiting year after year after year is not good. You know, go for it now if you can. If you feel good enough to play, give it a try, because next year ain't no guarantee, and the year after that ain't no guarantee. So, you know, I really hope that the Clippers just keep, you know, fighting the way they are. And I hope the two star players keep fighting off the court to get themselves back on. And I hope they make a run of the championship to silence all doubters. But hey, that's my take on everything. You leave any comments in the comment section as always. And hey, Cali out.